Oh, look, it's the Angel of Death.
So, Josh, tell me about Ghost.
Ghost is that band your mother doesn't want you to find out about or listen to.
I thought that was Slayer.
Oh, this is in the same token. Not heavy like Slayer, not, I think I see demons all around me, but this is like a mesmerizing, hey, come with me, I want to show you Satan thing.
Oh, okay.
Let me show you what Satan has to offer.
Is that all? Just Satan?
Ghost is those guys who go door to door like, here, let me tell you about a man named Papa.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Come with me. Here's a pamphlet. Come with me. Whatever.
And if you've forgotten everything that happened for the past 18 minutes, then you are ready for this episode of Discography Discussion. I am Joe. That is Dan.
Here.
That is Josh.
Good evening, metal
Wait,
fans.
where's Geoff?
Oh, he was good. I gave him water. He's okay.
What the hell? I haven't heard from Geoff in like a week. He hasn't responded to any of my text
he's
messages.
Good. He's good. I totally
He sent
took
me
care
like,
of it.
I got a weird message from a number that just said HEL.
Yeah, he said hello. Like he told me to tell you. He's fine. It's no big deal. Yeah,
Why
he's
is
good.
he-
He's got water. He's okay. He's fine. He said he'd be back a month or 2 weeks, month, day, something. He's good. Yeah. Hey, so
Okay,
there's this
okay.
cool band to talk about.
Yeah, we are talking about
like cool
Ghost
bands.
tonight.
Really cool bands. We're not worthy.
We are talking about Ghost tonight. I mean, I can pretty much leave it there.
Good evening, everybody out there in iPod land.
Josh and I will be arguing tonight over who gets to do the voice of Papa Emeritus.
Yeah, Joe does it way better than I do.
I only changed the way I do Squizgar in order to do Papa Emeritus from the band Ghost.
It's like Count Chocula dropped out of the cereal business and went metal.
I wasn't going to say it, but Dan's trying to.
Count Chocula went metal, everyone. Then this is what Ghost is.
Oh, I love Count Chocula.
I do too. He's my favorite.
Oh, it's
You're
so
not
good.
a Blueberry fan?
Oh, I love all three, but he's my favorite. He's my favorite character. Cereal-wise, it's Blueberry. Or Frankenberry. I know I want all three.
Frankenberry's really good.
I do too. I like, mash them all together. Count Franken Blueberry.
Before we get off on a trail about cereal, I want to say thank you to everyone for listening to this podcast and for subscribing. If you are not a subscriber, you can find everything Discography Discussion at Discussmetal.com. We are on Google Play. We are on iTunes. We are on Stitcher. We are on TuneIn Radio. So if you have an Amazon Echo product, you can say to it, Alexa, play the latest episode of Discography Discussion, and she will. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter at Discussmetal. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe. It really helps us out and lets us know you're listening. If you're the kind of person that likes YouTube, we also have an archive on YouTube. And actually, we have a YouTube comment this week, Dan.
Yeah!
From Nick_1993_PS. And it's in regard to He Is Legend. Fuck I Am Hollywood. Suck out the poison. It hates you. Heavy fruit, and few are mint. I'm not going to lie to you, I thought they were chocolate. I didn't know they were mint, so...
But it's not ice cream, they're albums released by a band.
And they are amazing.
Yeah, I really like the latest He Is Legend episodes. The latest He Is Legend albums more than the early. I don't hate I Am Hollywood, but I definitely agree with that sentiment.
He definitely was an objection to me and Geoff saying that we found that to be our favorite album.
Yeah, and
Which begs the question once again, where is Geoff?
He's good. He told me to tell you he's fine.
It's weird. I
He's good.
didn't think you
It's no
guys
big deal.
talked.
No, he's good. He's good.
Okay, this isn't like one of those weird I'm going to reclaim my place kind of things.
No. I totally passed him on the way in here. Somewhere in here. He's good. He's good. He's good. No
Do I
big
need to
deal.
go check on him just to make sure?
No, yeah, and I'll check on him. It's no big deal.
What?
I'll let him out after.
What does he
He's
need to
good.
Okay.
He's okay. I promise.
Puts the lotion on its skin. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, I like lotion.
All
It's
right,
good.
Josh, tell me about Ghost.
Ghost. Ghost is that metal cult satanic band your mother doesn't want you to find out about.
Definitely satanic.
I thought that
Very
was Slayer.
satanic. Well, they're Slayer-like, not quite as heavy and as scary as Slayer. They're like that. They're that band where if they were, they'd be the guy that comes door to door and be like, check out our stuff. Come here. What? Let me tell you about Satan. Come here. Here's a pamphlet. Come here. Let me tell you about Satan.
We're gonna
He's a
tell you
really
about our
good
Lord
guy.
and Savior, Satan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come here. He's a really good guy. He'll take care of you. They're that band.
Wow. I mean, you're 100% correct. It's all about... I've gone on record saying that I believe this is the most evil music ever recorded, and I stand by that.
It's some evil shit.
In a non-evil feeling way.
That's why it's evil.
It's pretty evil.
It's very haunting. It's not like Slayer, where like, oh my gosh, I see demons flying around ripping my head off. This is more like, come here. I want to show you this deep, dark place. Come here. Dan, come with me.
I don't want to touch your deep dark place. So
Speaking of that, I know you wanted to bring it up too, Dan. George Romero died this week.
yeah, unfortunately,
yeah.
George
Yes, he
Romero
did.
passed away.
Yeah. Well, the good news is if his movies are, in any way realistic, he'll be back shortly.
Next
I
week.
will have my shotgun ready.
That's going to be a rough one. He'll be back.
All right. So, how did you find Ghost, Josh? Because I've
Ghost.
heard this story before.
They found
It's
him,
great.
from what I
They
understand.
did. They recruited me. I saw Ghost the first time, and they opened
So,
up.
which nameless soul were you?
I cannot say that there's a lawsuit currently going on. I am not at liberty to say anything on that subject.
Damn.
I saw Ghost that opened up for Avenged Sevenfold. And I don't know.
Arguably opening up for a better band.
Some may say, yeah. I mean, I like my fair Avenged.
I disagree.
We'll do that another time. I will fight you on that. So I'm about 5 or 6 rows from the stage. Get this band Ghost. It's coming up. I didn't really research him beforehand. I don't like to do it. I like to give him a chance without knowing about him. So it's just a big tarp in the background, a big black tarp that has the words Ghost BC on there.
Ghost before Christ.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To be fair,
That's so them.
it's all about copyright in the country that you're in, and it happens to be there is another band in the United States called Ghost.
And thankfully they were able to get the rights from those guys, and
Yes.
so they're just Ghost now. So they have these incense set up, and there's just smoke everywhere. It looks like a ritual. A sacrifice is about to commence. The band comes up there, and you can't see their face. They're dressed in these robes. They look like assassins and Assassin's Creed or something like. It looks like something out of Skyrim or something like that. So
He's not kidding.
No, it's no joke. This is how that was. They play an instrumental. They get about 2 minutes into it. They stop, and a dead pope comes out. The opposite
He's
of
dead?
the real
Like they have to
pope
carry him
is a
out?
dead pope comes out, and it almost looks as if he's floating out on stage. And he says, "Good evening, St. Louis." And I was hooked from there. They went on and played, a 45-minute set.
What
and
is it
was a
about
great
the
show.
Swedish voice that makes American men go,
I don't
yeah,
know.
this is metal?
Yeah,
oh
like
yeah, I
Swedish
can feel it
know
in
it.
my dark place. Yeah.
Swedish, Finnish, they know metal.
Dude, do you remember when we went and saw Opeth live in Chicago with
Yeah.
Dream Theater?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and we was like, yeah, this is heavy. He walks up, he goes, hello. And I'm like, wow.
Like, wow.
And then
He sounds really nice.
And then we left after Opeth.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fuck you, Dream Theater. We're driving home. We probably got home before their set was over.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
Those a-holes. But yeah, that was hooked ever since then.
I know you told me to listen to Ghost. You're like, you need to take some time and listen to Ghost. So I pull up the newest album because, well, if they're relevant today, then I might as well listen to them. If it was Dan telling me to listen to a band, he'd be like, you need to listen to this record. So I pull up Meliora and I listen to it and I'm like, this is awesome. And of course, it has Cerise on it, which is their big single. They won an award for it. Yes.
Grammy, I believe.
Grammy, I'm sorry. And it's amazing to listen to. It is what it is. It's not the greatest, most technical thing in the world, but you get the feeling that the band is trying to, put forward. But then I went back and I started listening to the other stuff, and I'm like, well, as Dan would say, this is a band that finally found their footing.
Tell us about it, Dan. What were your impressions?
Well, so I started with the first album. So I didn't see the band live. I don't have like some big fancy ass story about it. But so it starts off with this, and this I'm talking about the first record. What is that called again, Joe? Opus Eponymous.
Opus Eponymous.
Okay. So this starts off in kind of there's like this creepy organ playing, and it goes on for fucking ever, and then eventually,
Get used to that.
Yeah, get used to the organ.
They like that. Organs are good.
And then the vocals kick in, because at first you've got like this bass intro, and some guitar. It's thumpy. It sounds like sounds like a 1970s, like 1978 band,
Garage band.
Yeah, it's like a time capsule, and the vocals kick in, and it just like totally took me out of it, like immediately. as soon as I heard the singing, because the singing voice can only really be described as kind of goofy. Like, it sounds like Weird Al Yankovic playing Black Sabbath.
When you get the chance to
great.
hear Tobias Forgay, which I believe is how you say his name,
Papa.
when you get the chance, Papa Emeritus 1, 2, or 3, or probably
Pick a number, any
probably
number.
4 by now. Who knows?
No, not yet. Not yet. He's not 4 yet. That'll be the next album.
But when you get to hear
Gotta
him
get a little
speak,
older.
Yes.
it's the speaking voice and the singing voice are not the same. And I know Dan has mentioned that this is it definitely sounds classic rock. You know,
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like Blue Oyster Cult-ish, like, kind of like that, but, like, not as good.
Oh gosh, no. I can't stand behind the first record at all. Like, so yeah, it's a way different sound than their newest one, and a far cry from the second one.
Yeah, I mean, the singing is bad. The vocal melodies just aren't there. There's nothing really that interesting about it. The lyrics are just, like, as cheesy as they come. And I don't know if you understand, but this band, these are evil motherfuckers. Okay.
Yes.
They love Satan.
that is the point. Yes.
Yes. They love them some Satan.
It's a stage show. It's about the performance. It's the band, and I say the band loosely because depending on who you listen to, the band is one guy.
Yeah, we have no idea who they are.
See, I get the impression that yes, it's a stage show, but I think this guy like legitimately loves Satan. Like,
Well, obviously,
There's a good possibility.
like I'm talking like a heart-shaped box of chocolates. On Valentine's Day or anti-Valentine's Day or
most of
or
the band's
whatever,
biography it will tell you that the goal was to create the horror show, a la The Misfits, a la Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper, whether or not you like it, it's a character. It's not
right,
the
but
man.
like those bands weren't like romancing the goat like Ghost does. I mean,
Yeah, they were
Well,
more
I
about
have one thing to say then. Dear parents from the 90s, if you thought Marilyn Manson was evil, guess what?
Jesus.
so this is
We have Ghost.
lyrics are about ritualistic sacrifice because why the hell wouldn't they be?
What else would you gonna do with your
and
time?
it's weird to see because you've got solid musicianship. I mean, I don't listen to anything and I'm like, oh, that was off key or that was this, and I think that the cheese level is so high. It's like a sharp cheddar. You can put it in your mouth and at first it seems like, okay, this is just like regular cheddar, but after a while you can't get that taste out of your nose. You can't get it out of your mouth. I mean, it's so over the top, almost to the point where the band actually comes across like a 80s Christian metal band in the sense that like they're just so about the message and not so much about the music. They even spell Satan kind of like how Stryper spelled Jesus back in the day. Like it's like literally like a Catholic mass with all the words in different order.
Essentially,
I think out of the 10 songs on this record, and yes, I could go and actually count, but my memory of the first album, Satan is within the first 5 words spoken on at least 8 of these songs.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, yeah, I think I got it, guys.
As I said, this is the kind of record where you're like halfway through, you're like, all right, dude, I get it. You like Satan.
They love
you want
the
me to
hell out
like
of
Satan.
Satan.
I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah, like give me some context. Give me some story. Give me something else. I get
Right.
it. He's a great friend of yours.
they did sing a song about Elizabeth Bathory, which was pretty cool.
Which is a cool song. That's actually worth listening to. Anybody out
Although
there?
they do admit that she did in fact make a pact with, you guessed it, Satan.
Shocker.
Yeah, so
This is why they wrote it.
They're good. They're partner in crime. They're
That's
good
right.
buddy. Satan.
Ghost is like the band where Satan's at a bar and they walk in and they're like, oh shit, here comes
Yeah, right.
Ghost.
Yeah, Satan's like, oh my
Oh, God,
god,
again?
Yeah, these guys.
Get him a beer.
I changed my phone number.
I know.
I got a new
Stalker.
email. I moved hell itself, and these fuckers still found me.
Right? Yeah. It's well, who's Satan sitting at the table with drinking though? Is it Kerry King? I mean, is it?
Yeah,
That depends on who you ask,
I was
Dan.
gonna say,
Right.
could be. He might. He's playing the music for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a bad record. I can't really like the songs
there's-
run into one another. The
there's
vocals are
nothing
bad.
great.
I mean, it's just slow.
It's a Swedish band playing in a garage. It sounds not great. The lyrics are not great.
It's
Like it sounds
slow
like
and-
hired musicians with a guy who wrote some really trying really hard to be like, look at me, I like Satan, blah blah blah.
Right. I mean, like these guys are going to help me propel my message of Satan
Yeah,
to the world.
that's
It's,
right. The second album is where they start to form, I would say, what Ghost is now. You can start to hear what they are now as opposed to what they were before.
Yeah. I mean, The second album is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
It's much more easy to listen to and more enjoyable to listen to than the first one.
The second half of it is. One of the things I actually wrote down about this was that it has a beefier sound than the first record. And I just refer to this album as Infest because I'm not going to try to pronounce that shit.
Yeah,
I am not a Latin major, so with all due respect and apologies to all the Latin majors that might be listening to this, 2013's Infestis Umam.
Right, and then so like Papa Douchebag, I mean whatever his name is.
My name is Papa Emeritus 2.
Okay, so he added the number 2 at the end of his name. And
tell me if the story's right, Josh.
I don't understand the reason for that.
The story is that the entity that is Papa Emeritus had like a year to convert people to Satan, and he failed, so his brother showed up.
Yeah,
and took over the role.
Yeah, it was quote unquote his brother, and he was Papa Emeritus II, which,
Yeah, but it was kind of bullshit, right? Because it's clearly the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, okay, yeah, it's your brother, and then he's on the third one. And so essentially at this point, they're just going from album to album, and it's, a reborn stage show message.
Yeah, I mean,
conversion.
Like I said, I don't have the benefit of the stage show or any of the story in between. I'm only going off of what I hear. And, for the first 4 or so tracks on this record, I mean, you're basically looking at a very similar sound. I take a special issue with the second song, which is also a fucking Latin name. But then, at the end of the song, he repeats a single line over and over and over, and it's annoying as all hell because it's in Latin. So, I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah,
at that
they
point.
changed that after halfway through the album. It's like English. That's our crowd. We're gonna stop with trying to do the Latin.
I'll take a shot at it.
It's satanic. We get it. But
It's per asperia ad inferi.
Yeah. The song musically is good, but yeah, they get the lyrics and it's like, okay.
To be fair, anytime you bring up Latin with Dan, his mind goes to liberate te ex inferis.
Well,
no comment.
I think
it's right.
Moving on.
Anyway,
I think
second half of the album.
No, I mean the first half is just so boring. It sounds like B-sides off the last album,
which it probably was. I mean, all honesty, if I understand of the album, they didn't have a whole lot of material for that album in the first place. So yeah, it probably is the leftovers.
They had 3 years. Metallica can write puppets off of.
Okay, we can't compare the two here. We're not even going to go.
I just thought I would bring up the first Metallica comparison this time. But they had plenty. They had plenty of time to write more shit.
Maybe it wasn't good.
Maybe it wasn't good. You're right. It wasn't good because I'm listening to it and it's not good.
So tell me, which year zero was better, 9 Inch Nails or Ghost?
I'm going to go with 9 Inch Nails on that one.
I would have to agree.
Year zero is irritating to me because, again, it's just trying to sound way cooler than it is. And, they're, listing off. I mean, from what I can understand, they're pretty much listing off as a choir, literally all the bosses you fight in the Diablo series, it's just so...
Maybe it was their tribute song, Dan. Maybe they're really big Diablo fans.
I don't know, man. I was getting a huge Diablo vibe off of this one, and, I think Papa Eraserhead,
he does say Beelzebub more than once.
I think that Papa Eraserhead here would really, agree with that whole diabolic angle, because, that guy's playing Diablo right now.
Oh, sure.
He's in a greater rift, he's just kicking ass.
I think David Lynch would take exception to that comparison.
Yeah. Well, he's busy right now.
Still, it just, it's a cool song, but holy shit, this record got weird. The first one was super Satan is my homeboy. I love me some Satan. And this record is very much the same way, but there's a lot of weird lyrics in here that I'm going to showcase right now. I'm going to have to read them off my phone. But
Dan took notes this week.
I did take notes.
Who knew?
So there's a song called Gigolo Har Megiddo.
Yeah, it's...
And the standout lyrics from this song are, I am the one who comes into the daughters of men, destroying all, and making them want it again. Yeah, okay, buddy. So it's just literally hey, man, look at all the women I fucked.
This
You
is
don't
like
think
this
Satan's
is like
getting
Phil
laid?
Anselmo with the fucking Pantera thing again.
I just don't buy it, man. Like that just like there's no way chicks are into this band. Like there's just no way in hell.
You would be surprised.
I mean, and then it gets even better. You know, he goes, "However fair and pure, you craved the wand." Okay, dude, I get it. Your wand is a dick.
Josh, help me
Okay?
out. Does he wear the mask when the groupies show up?
Oh, you have to. I mean, they want Papa. They don't want the guy under the mask. Like,
Oh.
hey, keep the hat on and just take the robe off.
Wait.
That's wow.
How do you know he wears the mask?
Well, again, there's a lawsuit out there. I'm not at liberty to say too much at this point.
I don't buy that he's hooking up with anyone after this. This is like a whole bunch of dudes with like super long hair that listen to like fucking Witchfinder General all day, and they love Satan, and like I don't.
How do you know it's all? How do you know there's all dudes? How do you know there's not chicks
I'm
involved?
pretty sure they're all dudes.
No, there's a chick involved.
There's been a couple nameless souls that were obviously female.
I don't mean in the band. I just mean people that like the band. And I don't buy it.
Dan, I'm one of the people who likes the band.
I don't buy it. That
I've had sex with Papa.
I'm sure you have.
It was good.
And that's my whole point. But he says daughters, and I just don't believe that there's like that many daughters.
He
that
has
he's,
sisters that come out okay. The sisters of the
here's the thing.
of the hood. The Covenant.
I don't think there's that many daughters that he quote is coming into.
Let's just say it was probably just a cheesy song. He couldn't come up with anything any better.
Yeah, possibly, but I'm gonna move on
Because there's a far cry from that as opposed to the newer album.
I'm gonna move on and just say, dude, maybe you should stick with the whole Satan thing a little bit more.
I'm just going to say that how do you know that Satan is not getting laid as well, okay? Somebody's got to market that stuff for you. And Papa's a man.
We are all females in the eyes of Satan.
Anything with Satan
okay.
in it is good.
All right.
Well, did you like Monstrous Clock on this one then?
Monstrous Cock.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean clock. It's a good album closer, for sure. It's one of the better songs. Like I said, the second half of this record is significantly better than the first half, in my opinion. I mean, it's more upbeat. There's more variation in the song
Well, how there
structures.
could be a cash change. I mean, who knows?
It could be possibly
some different
mid-album cast
influences out
change.
of it.
Because I'd say it changes the most in the song. What is that song about the zombie lady?
Mummy dust.
Yeah. I'm drawing a blank
No,
on the names.
it's not Mummy Dust.
It
It's
starts out with a piano sounding and I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on it.
Zombie Queen.
Yeah, I like it because it's slow. It's Gule.
Yes.
Gule. Yeah. I like this one because it was a different pace and tempo than what we had. Everything else just kind of plods along at this like mid-paced speed, and like this one really. This one seemed a little different. I liked it. It was creepy.
The first 4 or
There was
5
whispering
songs,
and stuff.
it's like they just played like 25 minutes of music and then just put stops in here and there.
Yeah, kind of like the entire first album sounded. Yeah.
No kidding.
To be fair, we're not rushing through. There just isn't a lot to talk about.
No, there's not. They're not.
It's not.
There's a lot of visual flair. There's not a lot of substance.
Well, again, let's just say again, they're a visual band. They're not somebody like until this last album. The last album is definitely something you could sit down and be like, wow, okay, this is legit. These, they're a good band.
So Dan, before we do move on to Meliora, the one that we want to talk about, do you have anything you have to say about the first two?
Well, there's only one more thing I'm going to highlight on the second record, and it's a lyrical gem, in my opinion. It's off of the album Depth of Satan's Eyes. And, the lyrics go as such. The swamp of feces that is this world flatulates a whirlwind storm in which you swirl. So basically what they're saying is the world is a pool of shit. And then a fart that creates a windstorm of fart is where you live. So, I mean, I just want you guys to think about that and let that waft.
It was a very poetic way to
let
say
that waft all over you while you
wafting,
move on.
wafting.
Yeah, I mean, holy shit, man! Like, I was not expecting poop jokes, and damn it, I got poop jokes.
But it was in such an elegant way that you're like, huh.
I don't know how elegant it was, man. Elegant is actually not a word I would use to describe this band throughout their career. It's just a lot of weird bullshit. Like it's hard to. That's what I really have to say about the first two records. Is it's just a lot of weird shit, man. And I don't get it, and I don't necessarily want to get it. I won't be revisiting those. And it's interesting. It's interesting to see where they went 2 years later in 2 years later in 2015.
Yeah, let's talk about the record that we want to, because this is the first one I heard. This one's actually really, really good. It's enjoyable. I can remember the music, which is my biggest criticism with the previous albums, is it runs together. I don't remember anything that I'm listening to. But 2015, Meliora. This is the one that has Cerise on it, so if you've heard Cerise, you've probably heard this record. And if you wanted to listen to Ghost today, I would tell you, unfortunately, skip the EPs, skip the first 2 records, listen to Meliora. It kind of flows together like a good performance piece.
Much more grand, epic sounding in this one.
Yeah, they, again, not to quote Dan on this one, but here's a band that clearly found their footing finally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so what is this song called? Cerise?
Cerise.
Yeah.
Cerise, yeah. It sounds like a B-side off of South of Heaven, for sure. And I liked this song. It was a little bit heavier version of Ghost. They just take their shit a little bit more seriously now. We don't sound like we're playing in the 70s anymore.
Well, I was going to say,
sounds much more
in
modern.
honesty, a lot of that older stuff that you hear live, like take this sound with those lyrics and those songs, and it sounds like this live.
Yeah.
So this is what I heard for the very first time, was this sound with those music, as opposed to going back and going, damn, what happened? Like, this is not what I saw live. What band is this that's playing now?
Right. Yeah.
So it's a huge difference on how you come across them.
Because
This is how they sound live. It's a lot beefier.
It's a step in the right direction. I'm not gonna lie. I really liked the song "Mummy." No, it wasn't "Mummy Dust." Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was "Mummy Dust." I liked that song because it sounded like it was a super metal song for them. It was very, very upbeat, very evil sounding, and I like that about it. I like kind of the cheese on this one a little bit more than the cheese on the other ones. It's like more like a mild cheddar versus a sharp cheddar,
because it sounds more metal.
It does. It's
a little ballsier.
The music matches the lyrics a little bit better. You're not really always sure what direction they're going to go in with each song, whereas the other 2 albums are just extremely predictable.
Yeah,
in that
you know what's
regard.
going to happen.
I would review any of their records as a soundtrack for the stage show, because they have the very old school, very classic, here's the really heavy song that everybody likes, and then here, for whatever reason, is the piano solo. This is the song in the middle where it's heavy. And we're not hiding anything. If you've listened to Cerise and you've caught, and I'm going to spoil this word because it's I don't know if it's Latin or what it's in, Spooksanat, which is track 4 on Meliora. It's just a harp solo. It's somebody playing the harp. So this is designed to get you in the mood for going and seeing Ghost live.
Yeah, and this album also is a different number behind Papa Eric Maddox's name.
Papa Emeritus.
The third.
So there's a number 3 on there, but it's like, dude, you're not fooling anybody, buddy. We all know it's you.
And this is the one where he's pretty much dressed like a swing guy from the 30s,
Yeah,
which,
but
again...
By this point, so this is by the time this record come out, I would have seen them 5 times now, and so this stage show, the 2 concerts in this
Just a
album
mild fan.
is just a hair.
A tiny fan.
The stage show for this is a lot different. Now the rest of the band is coming out in these like metal mouthless pieces. They've got these like horn hats, like these horn hats that they're wearing. Like it's very like operatic, very theater driven. Evil. And so it's a way to, halfway through the set, Papa takes off his hat. He does like a costume change. Yeah, he comes out like this swing dance dead look. He's got a microphone. He's like throwing black roses at the crowd. It's very just out there. And it's different every album, like every tour that they do. It's a whole new different piece that they do with it.
So we're putting more emphasis on the show and less on the music is what you're telling me.
Yeah, they definitely do.
At least we're being honest.
Yeah, I mean... But again, by the time that they sound, by the time this album rolls around, they do sound musically better, the lyrically better. It's trending in the right direction. They sound good live, but it's weak on the albums.
It's just strange to me that a band that has taken this long to find their footing is as popular as they are. And that,
but
that
I
was
think
the
they
thing
would,
that struck me.
They've probably gone through so many musicians, though.
Because I
wouldn't
mean,
be surprised.
I can't even find bad reviews for the first 2 albums. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is amazing," you know.
See, I
gosh.
can't find any reviews for the first 2 albums that weren't written in the past 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Right.
all.
At least in this country.
I don't know if they've had the success in the U.S. that they've had in Europe.
Only recently.
Probably, I was gonna say probably not.
And it's all been hype. It's all been, I want to go see that band, which once you do, it's either really good and you keep going back, or it's mediocre and you don't bother.
Yeah.
And
They
then
have
we
a pretty
can't.
good following, at least locally. I know they do. I mean, their shows have sold out. The ones I've been to that weren't headliners with somebody, or not headliners, but opening for somebody.
Yeah, it's crazy that you'd have an opening band also have such an elaborate stage show.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was interesting. Because when they did for Avenged, I mean, Avenged didn't have anything, and because it was just all of their stage stuff was hologram video on the back wall,
Right.
so it was just a screen.
Was that when they were doing the guy jumps off the rafters and hangs himself and it's supposed to be the Rev?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, of course. I mean,
You know,
gotta
then
have
occasionally they have, writing nights and, different crazy stuff like that. But yeah, so that for Avenged setup, it wasn't a whole lot, really. There was room for Ghost to have that. Now, when they play I saw them at a smaller venue at the Pageant when they sold out the 3 times I'd seen them there. And that was a much different setup because they had the room and the time to be able to do elaborate, smoke and, halfway through the show, they have their Sisters of the Coven come out and they give, crackers and wine to the front row and bless them satanically and, that whole gem.
Wow.
Wow,
and
we
so they
got to
have-
go to this, Dan.
They do. Well, and the funny thing about it is they have special guests. Like I told Dan off air, Lizzie Hailstorm from Hailstorm is one of the Coven sisters who shows up with them occasionally, depending on where they're at. And she hands out crackers and bless people in the crowd. Satanic style.
That's a thing that exists.
It's quite a show.
I don't know how.
Didn't Dave Grohl play for this band once?
He doesn't deny it, but he doesn't confirm it either. I've heard from a lot of reliable sources that he has played some shows under the geist of a nameless ghoul. So it would surprise me if a lot of people have. Honestly, a lot of people dig this band in the music industry. So
Just find the show where the drummer is headbanging ridiculously.
that's right. His head's gonna come off.
That's Dave right there.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about Ghost. They weird me out. I don't totally get it most of the time.
Oh, it's evil. It's most definitely evil.
It's but I listen to a lot of evil music, and I got no problem listening.
I think
to
there
shit
should be like a part 2 where we take Dan to a show and then do like a post Ghost topic with Dan to see what his thoughts are after
right
the show.
at the very end. I'm like, I
you
think
know what?
I'm gonna give this Satan guy a chance.
Yeah, that's right. He seems like a swell fella.
Right? Yeah, probably not gonna happen.
Can I
But
have a pamphlet?
right? Do like the little comics, like the old religious pamphlets.
That's right. Here, take one. Here, take one.
Johnny was a normal kid, and then Johnny saw pornography and immediately burst into flames.
That's right. He's gone.
I thought he was a chemist's son.
Yeah,
Ooh,
so I mean,
eventually.
Didn't he think it was H2O?
again, I don't really know what to say. Like it's I'm speechless. Like I don't love it. I think the new album's pretty good, but it's definitely not something that's going to be on my playlist all the time. And but it was a lot of fun talking about it because it's just one of those oddities where you can't really blame the band for being what they are.
It works for him now.
It
so.
really, yeah. I mean, clearly it's cashing the paycheck for him. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like these guys like really love Satan. They're super evil.
We're gonna take Dan to a show. It's settled.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
Next year when they're here.
Absolutely.
They were just here. I just missed them too. They opened up for Iron Maiden a couple weeks ago or a week ago.
I guess my biggest scrutiny is going to be though with the fact that like you take the image away from the band, and you're not really left with a whole lot. I don't feel like the records stand on their own very well.
Oh no, I don't disagree with you. I think the music and
The
the
most
show
recent
go
record
hand in
would be
hand.
the only one.
Yeah, I mean, you could play that record and without the theatrics and the mask, and you
Maybe.
could probably get a decent show.
Decent.
But yeah, I mean, I think at this point in their career, their stuff goes hand in hand. I mean, their music goes hand in hand with the theatrics. Like I said, the handing out of crackers and blessing the crowd. And,
So are they
that
the
stuff.
new Kiss?
I think they're the new Tool, but I already said that.
Well, it's not like we're ever going to get new tools. So
Yeah, I don't know. Maynard
want
says
new
it's
Tool?
happening. He says it's happening.
He's only been saying that for a decade.
Well, you know, when the guy's making millions of dollars and he's got his own...
Guys, it will literally be in 10,000 days.
He makes more money on his winery than he does anything, so...
Right.
Yeah, they could be considered a Kiss-esque. Not great musically, but they're such a damn good show, and they have such a cult following because of that show that... Yeah,
I love watching Kiss. I just don't like their music very much. Yeah,
yeah, it's not great, not by any means. I mean, sorry, Gene. Nothing personal.
And yet, Pantera couldn't even be a good Kiss clone. Anyway,
do we need to go back to Pantera? I thought we settled that last week.
That's over.
Now let's see Dan.
Final thoughts on Ghost, Dan.
You know, I don't hate it, but I really don't love it, and it'll be interesting to see what they do in the future. I don't think the band stands on their own without the image, and they're going to have to release 2 more good albums to balance out what they've released so far. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, hopefully they are. I mean, I don't disagree with you at all. I think at this point in their career, their image, goes hand in hand with the music. I mean, they wouldn't be able to just go up there, just 6 regular dudes or dudettes, and just, hammer that out and, put people in the stands. They need the theatrics. That's all part of their image. But I like to think with this last record that the direction they're heading, that, maybe get 2 more records or 3 records after that, and you'd have yourself a pretty good band that you could latch yourself onto. I still like it, though. We need to take you to a show. That'd change your mind.
Maybe.
It would.
I think you have another...
Maybe. I'm not eating the crackers.
I didn't either. I wasn't. Yeah. Well, I'll pass on that.
It's like, do I really? That's a pretty big decision, right? Do I want to dedicate my soul to Satan tonight?
That is a lot.
Because it seems more like a next Thursday kind of decision.
Yeah. It was a surprise too. You're basically enjoying the show, and Papa's like, "Here, do you want to join?"
Creepy.
I think if you want to hear the most recent example of a band trying to make their stage show the most important aspect of the evening, then Ghost is it, because right now they're the newest group to try and do it. People back in the day said you shouldn't listen to Alice Cooper because he's evil. Then people said you shouldn't listen to Ozzy Osbourne because he's evil. Then Led Zeppelin, I heard the same thing. In the 90s, for us, it was Marilyn Manson, and I'm sitting here going, he never said Satan is a good thing! Nope. This is the one that says Satan is a good thing.
The best thing,
This
apparently.
is the band that...
The only logical choice.
If anything, they're making fun of you for thinking that they're evil. Well, yes, we are.
Very much so.
And that's kind of the point. It's a stage show. It's a performance. I'm looking forward to them maybe one day putting out a DVD. Give me the most recent. Give me a 2 or 3 hour DVD.
I could just see how that would go. It would just be interviewing the
and I'd be okay with it because that would be the whole performance.
It'd be like subtitles and.
But if you want to listen to Ghost today, pick up Meliora, listen to that. Then
start there,
before
please.
you bother with the other 2 albums, maybe you need to go see a show
or just watch clips online, because you can even get a good idea just from watching some YouTube clips.
Absolutely.
Just don't eat the crackers.
It is what it is.
Stay away from the crack. And I don't even know what was in the cup. I mean, hell, that could have been Kool-Aid. It could have been blood. I don't really know.
Cool blood.
It could have been that. Yeah, it could have been both. Wouldn't surprise me. Oof.
Josh, I don't know where you've been hiding, man, but I'm glad you came back to do this, and hopefully Geoff will find his way back from
He'll
wherever
come back,
he went.
guys. Don't worry. He's okay. I checked on him.
Yeah, dude, you need to stop being a stranger.
He's
That's
good.
all I'm saying.
He's good. I'm sure he's back. He's all right.
You going to come back for some Judas Priest action,
Oh, some Judas Priest. I am a big fan. What
All
are we
right.
doing Iron Maiden next?
All right, Papa Energizer Bunny.
Dan's officially had enough, so on that note, this has been episode 23 of Discography Discussion. Thank you for listening. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Discussmetal. Subscribe to our podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts, including Google Play, iTunes, and Stitcher. Visit Discussmetal.com for all things discography discussion, and please send questions and comments to danandjoeshow@gmail.com. If you are not a patron, you can become one at patreon.com/discussmetal. We have some sweet perks.
Satan. Crackers.
You know, Lars, you should try these crackers. That's all I'm saying.
Is there beer?
Yeah, I don't need
James, you can
crackers.
have crackers too if you want.
Beer and crackers.
Yeah, that's not gonna fly. Like, I don't need crackers to sell. I mean, I'm a fucking genius. I took down Napster. Okay.
Beer.
Single-handedly?
Why do you think I am not here talking to you? You are clearly the most evil human being in the world.
Yeah, I don't know about that. My buddy James probably more so, but
I'm done. You know, you guys are going on and on about the image, and all I really had to go off of was what it sounded like. So, like, when that first song kicks in, it's got kind of like this bass intro, you know, and it seems, and I'm kind of into it, I think, and I like it. And the singing starts, and there's really not, I don't really have a point of reference for it. I mean, maybe if I was more of a classic rock guy, I would get it more. Because, I mean, first of all, this shit sounds like it's like right out of 1978. I mean, just completely, you know, 70s rock.
Well, it is Sweden. They are behind the times.
Yeah, Blue Oyster Cult kind of sound.
Which, oddly enough, is a big fan of they're big fans of.
Yeah, and so, like...
You don't realize it, but you actually hit the nail on the head because the guitars they play are 1970s series Gibson RDs, which are really hard to find.
They're very old school.
Were they only released in 77, Josh? Or was it, like, that was when they stopped making them?
I think they stopped making them in 77. Like, you can find them after that, but 77, I think, was the last year.
Yeah. There are other companies making that style. You actually hit the nail on the head.